COVID-19 changed the way we do things. We had to change to survive. But when the threat is gone, what changes are here to stay? Businesses and communities are always looking for positive changes, ways to make life easier and more enjoyable.
But sometimes you don't know what will work or what people will want until you are forced to try. 9 on 10's Eric Lloyd has a special report, The New Normal, on some of the changes that are here to stay.
There's a saying, necessity is the mother of invention, and when COVID-19 hit, the necessity was to survive, whether it was your business, your city, your way of life. And what it forced people to do was invent creative ways to get by. And some of those, once the masks are gone and we're through this pandemic, are going to stick around because they showed things can be done better and more efficient. But we're not there yet.
It did force us to get a little creative.
If we were to redesign our system now, what is it that we know?
What have we learned? Did COVID-19 open our eyes to new ways of doing things that will be part of our post-COVID lives?
There were glimmerings and ideas, but yeah, there was never any kind of time to put those things together. The pandemic forced it. It became survival to figure these things out.
The food business became the survival business. Without dining rooms, restaurants and bars had to adapt. They took it outside.
We've always done carryout, but we've never tried to bring the carryout experience home.
Miles Anton of Trattoria Stella survived by pushing his meals into homes.
Kits that people could pick up and cook at home very easily with cooking instructions.
The slower traffic also allowed them to build a cocktails and wine to go program.
At this point, the systems are in place. It's just a matter of finding staff.
First it was stress and fear, and then kind of fun, having to recreate your business and think outside the box.
Tina Schuett at Rarebird found that COVID uncovered possible growth. Relaxed laws in the city allowed for a big outdoor area and a tent.
It was always kind of clunky when those groups would come because it's such a large volume at once, and it would kind of scare away regular customers. So we're definitely going to be adding that back indefinitely, possibly instead of a tent, adding rooftop dining.
I think a lot of people are saying, hey, there's cooler, different ways to do things.
Including running a city. During the pandemic, Traverse City opened things up to draw people downtown.
I think things like closing Front Street to automobile traffic and opening it to pedestrians was something that was easier to do last year because it was really necessary.
People could walk freely from place to place, a drink in hand.
I don't know if that'll be back this year necessarily, but it's certainly proven that it's possible.
Prior to COVID's arrival in the United States, Munson Healthcare was working through a multi-year plan for telehealth.
Healthcare was already planning on going digital, but in 2019, Munson did not do a single virtual visit. They did more than 75,000 in 2020.
I think it's safe to say we moved a couple years ahead.
Just like in healthcare, schools immediately were forced to turn on technology.
It was a real culture shock for a lot of people having to learn online.
There's a push now to get students back in the building, but not everyone will come back.
We know there will be an element of our student population that is interested in continuing on with online learning.
The groundwork is laid now for students to choose their mode, and teachers are adapting.
They could be teaching half of their day in a classroom and half of their day online, to kids that aren't even in those four walls. Coming out on the other side of this, whatever that new normal is, I think has definitely pushed that forward to where technology is really going to become much more part of an instructional atmosphere.
The new norm for school and for life. In Traverse City, Eric Lloyd, 9 on 10 News.